Hello guys, welcome to the set 2 of interview prep assignment. First of all, I would like to answer the mathematical question that I had skipped in set 1. It was mentioned that on rolling a dice, if you get $1 per dot on the upturn phase, what are your expected earnings from rolling a dice? It means that one dot equals to $1. So simply the probability can be 6 dots plus 5 dots plus 4 dots plus 3 dots plus 2 dots plus 1 dots equal to 21 dots equals to $21, we can say simply, divided by 6. So the average earning is equal to 21 divided by 6 equals to $3.5. Now let's moving to the question 1 of set 2. Tell me about the time you have failed and what you have learned from it. Actually, not only once. We get success not as many times as we get failures. So I have failed many a times and I'm not afraid to say so or admit it. But every time I have not accepted my defeat. Instead, I have always challenged myself and kept moving on to make myself uh, improved day by day. Because what I believe is there is nothing less or nothing more in anyone. It all depends on how hard you try and how willing you are before you can give up. Moving on to the next question, explain what is imputation. List out different types of imputation techniques. Imputation techniques were already discussed in the last part where we discussed about the data cleaning, so I'm not going to cover it again. Moving on to the next question, why should I hire you over someone experienced with yeah uh, I believe that obviously uh, having someone more experienced than me is something that can't be discarded, but in upgrad course we have worked on so many projects and we have used almost all the important machine learning algorithms like linear regression, logistic regression, svm, decision trees, random forest, uh, time series forecasting. So and we also had hands-on experience on various assignments and projects aside beside from the um, conceptual things. So I don't consider myself that I am a fresher. I do have some experience that would be handy. What do you bring to the table over a fresher? Yeah, just like I said, I'm not a fresher. I have so many experience, and uh, apart from that I have also been working in risk analysis project in my current organization, using R and logistic regression, in which we predicted the uh, how much risk is there, legal risk or financial risk can happen based on different factors. We were predicting this and we were uh, predicting the means probabilities of all those factors and then classifying it, and then checking the accuracy and means creating the confusion matrix, everything that is done in a logistic regression project. So I believe that given a chance I can be pretty useful for your organization. And obviously in this interview you have already seen how much I know and how much I can do. uh, Apart from that, uh, I'm continuously learning, I'm continuously improving myself day by day. And obviously if given a chance, if given the right tools and correct environment, uh, I can be very useful. And one more thing, I also have knowledge in Python as well, not only in R. I'm working on my Python data science concepts as well. uh, and I can also work in data visualization part. In Tableau, I have created plots, dashboards, and stories. uh, I have good knowledge of SQL as well, and I am uh, I feel at home while using Excel as well, whether it be pivot tables or VLOOKUP. So I think that I am an overall package which will be not so bad for you. Now, coming on to the next puzzle, there are three jars, all of which are mislabeled. One jar contains oranges, the other contains apples, and the third jar contains a combination of both apples and oranges. You can pick as many fruits as you want to label the jars correctly. What is the minimum of fruits that you must pick, and from which jars to label the jars correctly? Okay, now let's suppose we pick one fruit from the uh, mixed fruit, no, from the, yeah, from the apple labeled jar. So if the first fruit that comes from the apple label jar, if it is apple, then first thing is mentioned that all jars are mislabeled. So this cannot be the apple jar. Either it can be, no, it can only be a mixed fruit jar. Obviously, it cannot be uh, an orange one because apple is coming out of it, and other two jars out of one, orange is already labeled and mixed fruit is already labeled. So already we have identified that it is a mixed fruit jar, and this is the the two jars remaining will have, one will have the level of orange and one will have the level of mixed fruit. So obviously all of the labels are incorrect, so orange one cannot be orange. So obviously orange one will have to be the apple one, and the last one which is labeled as apple, that will be the orange one. So we can correctly tell in one attempt only, and by picking one fruit only at the minimum, that which fruits are contained in which jars. Now moving on to the next question, name some data analysis tools that you have worked with. Yeah, I have worked with R, I have worked with Anaconda for Python, I have worked with Eclipse for Python, I have also worked with Tableau, I have worked with SQL Server Workbench, sorry, MySQL Workbench for SQL, and I have also worked on Excel for data analysis purposes. Okay, now what is naive Bayes classification? Why is it naive? Naive Bayes classification, I don't remember it now. So moving on to the next question, is it better to have too many false negatives or too many false positives? Actually, no one is better. We should have the right strike of combination between these two so that the accuracy doesn't get hampered. Give some situations where you will use an SVM over random forest machine learning algorithm and vice versa. When we have sufficient time, because SVM takes considerably long time for the model prediction. So when we have sufficiently high time, and plus we have the high computational power, means powerful systems are available, then we can use the SVMs. Otherwise we can go for a random forest machine learning algorithm, because it is very simpler to use and simpler to explain. But when the number of it is an ensemble actually, and when the number of trees are very high in the random forest, then it also takes considerably high time, but less than SPM. So obviously when the time is low, when we don't have so much time for model building, then we can go for random forest. Otherwise, if we have sufficiently high computational speed and powerful systems are available and we do have some time, then we can go for SVM. How many footballs can you fit in a Tata Nano? Obviously, length, breadth, height, nothing is given, so we can give any number, random number of answers, like 50 footballs. Nobody is going to check. If somebody is cross questioning ourselves, uh, means myself, then I will obviously ask for what is the volume of the car, then what is the volume of a football that you are going to try to fit in it, and then obviously dividing the total volume by the volume of a single football, we can get the total number of footballs that can fit in Tata Nano. This question reminds me of a question. uh, what is the number of steps uh, of the ladder that you just of the stairs that you have just walked on? So yeah, you can answer anything, you just have to be positive and confident. Give some situations where which is your favorite machine learning algorithm and why? My favorite machine learning algorithm is logistic regression, because logistic regression is very simple. It is not dependent on any system specification, or it doesn't take so much time to be built, so that we can predict the probabilities of the uh, different coefficients, and how much they are going to affect the target variable, and then we can check the accuracy of how much first of all taking the right cutoff value, and then classifying converting these probability values to the class labels, and then checking the accuracy of the model based on the accuracy confusion metrics, gain and lift chart, case statistics, etc. There are so many things available, like adjusted R values, AIC values. So this is very simple to explain to others as well. Anybody can understand it, so I like it very much. Mm, what are type 1 and type 2 errors? Type 1 and type 2 errors are part of hypothesis testing. uh, Type 1 error occurs when suppose when someone is guilty and judge declares him not guilty, then type 1 error occurs. Like when we are not able to reject a wrong null hypothesis. No, the example would be when someone is not guilty, and we uh, means he is convicted, then this is the example of type 1 error. And type 2 error is when a correct null hypothesis is being rejected. So the example would be when someone is not guilty, when a wrong type 2 error is when a wrong null hypothesis cannot be rejected. We fail to reject the wrong null hypothesis. This is the type 2 error. So example would be we fail to convict a murderer, a criminal. So that is the example of type 2 error. So that's all, guys, from the interview prep assignment. Thank you.